Hello everyone, my name is Jennifer and welcome to Best Kept Plans. Today's video is going to be a look at my February 2026 TBR. If you're interested in seeing what books I want to read this month, please stick around. I just finished filming my January 2026 reading recap and figured it was the perfect time to film my TBR video for February 2026. I'm bundled up because it's absolutely freezing where I am, and I'm excited to talk with you all about the 6 books that are on my TBR for February 2026. I have some reads that are definitely pretty intimidating to me, but also some reads that I'm very much looking forward to. So we're gonna start this out with talking about the first prompt that I have for my February 2026 TBR, and that is to read a book published this year. And I ended up choosing a book that I have an arc for, and that is Maybe This Once by Sophie Sullivan. This book comes out on February 10th, 2026. I'm thinking of reading it just around release day so that I can get access to the audiobook for this. I love Sophie Sullivan's writing. I think her writing is fantastic. She writes wonderful romances. They're very sweet. They're very charming. They're also usually very funny, and the characters are great. And this is the 3rd book in an interconnected standalone series. So I'm excited that we're likely going to get little hints of characters we've met in prior books that we've already fallen in love with. I'm so happy this is on my TBR and can't wait to give it a read. My second prompt for my February 2026 TBR is to read a book by an author that I've never read before, and I had quite a few of these on my shelves. Similar to when I picked my TBR for January 2026, I ended up pulling out all of the books that were written by authors I've never read from before, and then I used a random number generator to come up with this book. And that book is Black Cake by Charmaine Wilkerson. I have heard really great things about this book. I know it was made into, I believe, a mini series, but it could have been a film. I'm intrigued. I'm interested. I believe this is going to be a familial story. I'm unsure if it's going to be multi-generational, but I'm really hoping that it is. And I'm excited to read this. Very much looking forward to it. For the 3rd book on my TBR, I got the prompt that was to read a mystery book, and I ended up pulling out all of the mysteries on my shelves using a random number generator, and it came up with Shady Hollow by Juneau Black. This is a cozy mystery, and I believe it's part of a series. I randomly saw this at the bookstore one day and thought the cover was so adorable. I had kind of started leaning into more cozy mysteries at that point and thought it would be fun to pick this up. It's been on my shelves for a little while now, and so I'm glad that I was able to pick it for this prompt, and I'm very much looking forward to it. I think this type of book, a cozy mystery, is perfect for winter, and when you want to just snuggle up with a fluffy blanket and a cup of tea and all of that stuff. So I'm looking forward to giving this a read this month. The next book that is on my TBR for February is one of the ones I'm a bit concerned about. I'm a bit intimidated by, and I had to fulfill the prompt that was to read a book with more than 500 pages. So makes sense that this one would be pretty intimidating. And I ended up pulling out all of the books on my shelves that were more than 500 pages. I used a random number generator, and it landed on Mistborn by Brandon Sanderson. I have read a couple of Brandon Sanderson's books. I'm very much looking forward to exploring more from Brandon Sanderson. I just think the size of this is very intimidating to me. I'm not as intimidated by the idea of the story because I've been really craving fantasy. I've been craving high fantasy, and I know that he is a phenomenal writer who people absolutely love. And I know people absolutely love this series, so I feel like I'm in good hands with this book. It's just the size of it that's pretty daunting to me, but this is the push. This is the push to start it, and we'll see how it goes. The next prompt that was on my February 2026 TBR was to choose a memoir to read. And this immediately put me on edge because I am not a nonfiction reader. When I was looking through my shelves, I realized that there's literally only one memoir on my shelves. And it's one that I picked up very recently because it finally came out in paperback. And that is I'm Glad My Mom Died by Jennette McCurdy. I've had nothing but incredible things about this book. We'll see how this goes. I honestly, I have no idea how it's going to go. And then the last prompt for my February 2026 TBR is, I think, a really fun one. And it's to pick a book that everyone has read. And I did have a couple that would have probably worked for this prompt on my shelves, but the first thing I thought of ended up being the book that I decided to choose, and that is Quicksilver by Callie Hart. I could not resist purchasing this absolutely gorgeous edition with the foiled silver edges on it. I think it's stunning. And I did pick up the sequel to this in the same style with the copper foiled edges. So since I have books 1 and 2 in hardcover, I'm excited to finally dive into this to see how I feel about it. I'm really, really hopeful that I'm going to like this. I know a lot of people do. I also know that a lot of people don't like this. So we'll see how I fall, but I love fantasy. I really enjoy a romantasy, and I'm really hopeful that this is going to be a fun time. And that is it for my TBR for February 2026. I'm nervous. I'm excited. I'm looking forward to some of these books. I'm really, really hesitant about some of them. We'll see how this goes. I don't know. I don't know. We've got a couple long ones too. But I hope that you all enjoyed this video. And as always, everyone, please be safe. Bye-bye.